know about the Forlorn Soldier? A term given to the statue by architectural historian David Ransom in 1993. The story goes, that he was a reject, that the soldier was a reject, that the wrong foot was forward, hence the name Old Hayfoot, that he was never sold, and that he was just kind of discarded. And Kelly family came in, purchased the workyard from James Batterson. Michael Kelly found the statue and decided to put it up outside of the stone yard on a pedestal where he stood for many, many years. He was the target of many snowballs, many rocks, many sticks. But the reality is that none of these things were true. He wasn't rejected. He wasn't Old Hayfoot. He wasn't forlorn. Certainly the Kelly family were the stewards of this statue for many years. If we get up the ramp, get up, we got a ramp up. Okay, that's why I'm saying if you're whoa, stop, Billy, stop. Get off that ramp. Okay, please. Yeah, well, no, because you're just moving and saying, all right. I know what you want. I know what you want. You're worried about one strap only, correct? I'm worried about it on the edge. I'd rather just put a soft strap there, and I know it can't go anywhere. I don't want a soft strap on the sculpture. So we need to come up with another solution. It's fine. Okay. Okay. You take the 6 by 8 under the walk this way to the other. Get the 6 by 8. Get on the side. So just one more question. Are you satisfied with this graph? Okay. Just you make it so hard because I know it's fragile, but we've got to be able to touch it somewhere. But we can't. The sculpture's too fragile to push it. Okay. We have frames. Okay. But here's the thought. If you race across the doorway, block. Well, you can get it all the front wheel inside the door. It wouldn't be. I think we might roll it. Yeah, we're going to. Okay, that's fine. I'm just saying there are alternatives. Of course there's alternatives. Without putting pressure on the surface. It's very friendly. I got you. Okay. We got to push on the inner foot. Right. Yeah, come up.
Side to side, I got here a lot.
Yeah, the board's up 4, the door's 5. 5 doors. Right? How's it 2 inches? Give you a little bump on the plate. Okay. And feet on that plate so your back feels nice. You want the tin in there? We'll put the tin in. That's what hurt. That's a piece.
Another thing, and I can disregard everything. I don't know if you want to walk in some of this or this one.
This one?
Come back to me. We'll be alright. We're gonna be alright, Francis. Even if you get nothing. That?
I agree with you. I put a support in the middle of that.
Okay, go ahead. Calm down.
What's that, a frickin' 2x4? On its side?
We're gonna be alright. Just keep in mind what we can eat. Right?
You ready? Or I gotta go higher for
Go
the
high. Go
threshold.
high so we don't take a shot here. Okay. Not doing my mic. Good.
This building was largely completed in 1878 and dedicated not only to the operation of state government, but to the beauty, history, culture, and art of the state of Connecticut. This is a place that was created by the Civil War generation, those who fought so that the nation might live. There are momentous reminders of this great and horrible conflict, both inside and outside of the Capitol building. It is altogether fitting, then, that we gather this evening to add another Civil War tribute, the Old Soldier, or Old Hayfoot, or the Forlorn Soldier, as he is sometimes called. And we do so on a momentous anniversary. This day, September 17th, 151 years ago, the blue and gray armies of the Civil War broke upon one another at Sharpsburg, Maryland. The Battle of Antietam remains the single bloodiest day in American history, with some 23,000 men killed and wounded in just 12 hours. Civil War monuments have often been dedicated on this important anniversary. Only steps from where we sit tonight, Connecticut regiments deposited their battle flags on September 17, 1879. The Hall of Flags was created via statute by the General Assembly. Only a few years later, on September 17, 1886, the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Arch was dedicated. It is therefore no small matter that we are here tonight as citizens, representatives, veterans, servicemen, and women, and as friends to welcome this old soldier to his new and permanent home. He belongs here, as both he and the building were created by James Batterson, a leading monument builder and the founder of Travelers Insurance. And let us be certain that none of this would be possible tonight without the help of many people. So allow me to recognize the following people and request that they stand briefly when I call their name. Senator Don Williams, Tara Spain from the Travelers Foundation, Dr. Linda Schwartz, Commissioner of Veterans Affairs, Chris Galligan, the Vice President of Institutional Advancement at Central Connecticut State University, a variety of people in the leadership of the Connecticut General Assembly, the State Capitol Restoration and Preservation Commission, Richard Baishu, the Chief Operations Officer at Central Connecticut State University, Eric Connery and Elizabeth Berrigerio, Office of Legislative Management, the Connecticut Civil War Commemoration Commission, Terry Wilson, the President of the Avon Historical Society and a true friend, and finally Anthony Roy, a teacher at the Connecticut River Academy and a Master's in Public History student at Central Connecticut State University.
This soldier that you have before you reminds me of many of the veterans returning today and the plots and the plight of them. For this soldier has been faithful in his duty. However, he has been homeless too long. He has been shunned and discarded. Oh, the stories our veterans can tell but like this soldier, they cannot find the words. However, like our soldier here, though silent, he speaks. He reminds me, as a nurse who has seen the wounds of war, that I came to see where his face once took shape. I looked at it, and there were the eyes and a young life full of promise before me. And now, Mr. Kelly, I know they were Irish eyes. But he had lost his identity, his self, through the ravages of war. And I have seen real combat veterans with faces torn beyond recognition. And I have seen real veterans of war unable to speak the words of what they endured in combat. And I'm reminded, and have been reminded since the first time I met this soldier, almost 10 years ago, of the psalm, "The stone rejected by the builder has become the chief cornerstone." And I have also seen, as we have seen in this gathering today, good people, compassionate people.
When you look at it, I think, the plastic is right here. So you're going to be able to see them, but not directly in the center. But that's okay.
In a way, today feels like one of those homecomings. For decade after decade, this soldier has been out in the field, facing all kinds of weather and abuse. The battle has cost him his hands, his feet, and part of his face. But despite his wounds, he has clearly maintained his dignity. And he certainly has more than earned the honor of spending the rest of his days right here in this beautiful building.
And I would argue that the forlorn soldier will no longer be forlorn.
We hope that this placement here will remind the makers of our laws that veterans, this soldier standing watch at his very presence, and without uttering a word, speaks for all who served, who gave much, suffered much, and often remained broken for years. That just as we have brought this soldier of long ago in from the cold, and just as our veterans tonight are homeless on the streets of America, that we also, with this dedication, we all make the promise and make a promise to keep the faith with those who serve and those who stand forth to defend our nation's freedoms. We have a saying in the Vietnam veteran community: welcome home.
Tonight we recognize, indirectly, two young Catholic Irishmen who came to Hartford from County Tyrone. After 4 years, only 4 years here, they had the courage to start a business. It was called Kelly Brothers Cutstone Contractors in 1886. That little company grew, and it went through 4 generations of Kellys until it finally closed its doors. There was John and Michael Kelly, whose name will be on this plaque. There was Walter and John P. Kelly. John P. was my father. There was J. Michael Kelly, my brother, and 2 of our nephews, Douglas Kelly and Mark Kelly. Each one of these men carried a hammer and chisel for 101 years in our community. And, ladies and gentlemen, this large, multi-generational Irish family has had a old fascination with the old soldier. In behalf of all of us, I want to express deep gratitude for everyone who had a hand in bringing this soldier here. At last, he will be out of the elements that have torn him apart and will be able to stand and speak by his presence to all who care. We express our very special gratitude to Matthew Warshauer. He conceived the plan after being introduced to him by Dick Judd. You remember Dick Judd? Former president of Central Connecticut State University. After being introduced to him in a very few minutes, we came up with a plan. And I must say, I am absolutely grateful.
States that generations to come might know that.